A very good afternoon to you, our viewers. You're welcome to today's episode of Punch Sports Extra. Of course, it's an Olympics special, and we're going to be talking a whole lot about the Olympics. My name is Segun Odun. I have my co-anchor, co-driver, co-analyst here with me, Abiodun Adewale. Abiodun, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, Segun, and of course to you as well for making time to join us on the show today.
All right, very quickly, how do we begin? Up until this morning, in fact, up until a couple of hours ago, was it even up to an hour? I don't think it's up to an hour yet. Just less than 1 hour ago, it had been all L's. By L's, I mean losses for the Nigerian contingent at the Olympics. Name it, from basketball to boxing to table tennis. It had been losses upon losses upon losses. But just this morning, the game began 10 a.m. Nigerian time, and I was monitoring, and in the first 2 minutes or so, it was the Australian team leading the Tigers 11 pots to 1 or 2 or thereabouts. And I was saying, oh my goodness, is this 12 billion naira going down the drain? And guess what? Ezinne Kalu, Ami Okonkwo, Anna Kamara, Musa, the girls came back surprisingly defeating the Australians. I mean, FIBA has come out to tweet and they are saying that, is this the biggest surprise at the 2024 Olympics? Our first win. And remember that the contingent, the basketball contingent, were not part of the Nigerian team that went on the boat. Perhaps, the water thing is working in their favor. Biodun, very quickly, we were supposed to start the show with talking about the numerous L's. And wow, that was just, in the works. We got our first W, and what a way to get a W.
Fantastic. The first victory in basketball event for the Tigers in 20 years. The last time they won at the Olympics was in 2004. And it wasn't even their first game, it wasn't their second game, it wasn't their last group game. It was a classification game for who is going to finish 11th or 12th. At that particular edition. It's been growth over the years. From 2004 till now, there has been 6 Afro-Basket titles for the Tigers, and being African champions, it takes a lot to go to the Olympics and prove what you are able to do. And these girls, that was just exactly what they showed us. The power rankings of the 12 teams at the women's basketball tournament shows that Nigeria is the least
12th
ranked country.
The 12th.
And Australia are 3rd.
Yeah.
So we've beaten the 3rd best team. And 2 other teams are still waiting for us anyway.
Yeah.
But this is
we've qualified now.
This is
we've qualified because
way.
there's a best loser slot. So
Sure.
definitely
we are going straight into the quarterfinals.
Yeah, we are going to quarterfinals.
So it's one of the best ways to start from them. So even if they come up against France, against Canada, regardless of what happens, they are sure that some of the points that they will score in that game will be able to just part what they have already, and it will be able to push them to the next round.
All right, as our usual here, we begin with the front page of our darling newspaper, Punch Sports Extra, and we begin, of course, leading on a very giant scale on the front page of Punch Sports Extra this morning is what we saw that went down yesterday. The loss of the Super Falcons, their second loss of the tournament. They lost 1-0 against the Spanish side. We didn't play really well, but trust me, we could have gotten out of that encounter with 1 point, and that would have been a brilliant point. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that thanks to a Puteas free kick, and uncharacteristically, Chiamaka Nnadozie just came out a little bit, giving an opportunity for that free kick to fly past everybody and past her into the net. We lost all 3 points. Of course, we can talk tactical changes that could have happened, that should have happened, that did not happen, and a whole lot. But 2 defeats in 2 games, no goals, 2 goals conceded. We can still qualify with defeat Japan on Wednesday, but it looks like a tall order.
A very tall order. And the 2 defeats that we've had are avoidable losses. Against Brazil, we could have set up a different way and get what we wanted. Even when we set up a different way entirely, we had the chances to do that. Well, it's about learning. It's about all of that. But it seems that they didn't even learn from the mistakes that they made against Brazil. Against Spain, we knew what the strategy was. Everybody was glad that Asisat Oshoala was back in the starting lineup. And she didn't put a foot wrongly in that game. Getting every ball, connecting every pass that she's supposed to, teeing up her teammates as I went due. and she was just on point. And it was quite surprising to me that she created a number of chances, at least two very good chances for her teammates. Yeah. But it was baffling that as at the 71st minute or thereabouts, when we had momentum in the last 10 minutes, because from the 60-something minutes or thereabouts, we were gaining momentum at creating chances and all of that. That was the moment Coach Randy Wardrum chose to substitute Asisat Oshoala. And trust me, Veronica Hales, who came in from the 71st minute, I didn't see her until the last chance that she had for Nigeria in that game. So it speaks so much about how well our coach is able to read.
I think we should talk about Chinwendu Ihezuo very quickly. The first game, in the first 15 minutes, it was all Super Falcons against the Brazilians. Two opportunities. The second one, chastised Uchegbu, Christy Uchegbu. That was brilliant. But for, Rasheedat Ajibade went past the defender and crossed a fantastic... What we needed was a tapping. Chinwendu Ihezuo missed it. Perhaps that was the reason why she was kept on the bench, because she was equally also very much absent in that encounter. Kept on the bench in the second game against Spain. Asisat Oshoala didn't exactly get a clean opportunity. What was supposed to be an opportunity was an opportunity she teed up Rasheedat Ajibade, who unusually also had two brilliant chances yesterday but missed. And then the most glorious chance, perhaps the most glorious chance of the game for the Super Falcons, once again fell at the feet of Chinwendu Ihezuo, who once again brought a Z game from Spain into that encounter. And then, an opportunity to get a draw just went passing. Has she really covered herself in glory at this tournament so far, really?
At all, because you begin to ask questions. From the qualifiers when we began to see her, she looked like a kind of striker that will consistently misfire, because it was the same way in Abuja during the qualifiers that she had chances. To think that, remember we won our game just 1-0, and it was not a goal from open play. So, but it didn't mean that we didn't create chances. What happened in those games was that they were misfiring, including Uche Nakano, who didn't also get the chance to come out as quickly as possible in yesterday's game as well. So the front line is culpable of missing chances, and it's not just at these games. It's something they
ought to, even at the World Cup.
It's something they ought to have paid attention to over time. But the most clinical of them was what we saw yesterday, bringing Super Z into the game. Fantastic link up between the front three there, Asisat Oshoala, Rasheedat Ajibade. Even Esther Okoroko in the first half wasn't disappointing. She had one of the best chances of the first half as well, and she took it very well. The only reason we didn't probably put that ball at the back of the net was that the moment Esther took the first shot and it was parried, I was expecting somebody
to be there for a rebound.
There was no one. That was the only reason we didn't score in that. And Ajibade, she was under pressure in the first ball, but I think she hesitated too much. And her hesitation was the reason she didn't even get a touch on that ball at all. Just falling down under pressure.
She didn't understand what leg to use, and boom, it was off.
Before you knew it. So some people were saying VAR perhaps should have checked it and all of that, but it was a 50-50 chance.
I don't even think it was a...
So it's about chances. Football is about chances. Unfortunately, we haven't. Now, in the group is as open as the group is. We still have a lot to do, and that is beating Japan. Currently, we are on -2. Japan are on 0. So we first have to beat them and also take care of our deficit.
So 2 goes to 1, 2 goes to 0, or 3 goes to 1.
That is what we'll be able to take care of our deficit. And the moment we take care of that, we can be a little bit relaxed and see if we will go through as one of the best losers into the quarterfinals. And from there, it gets more tougher. Coming into this tournament, we knew the kind of opponents we were going to play.
Of course.
We didn't give them so much chance. But everybody is riding on the shoulder of what we did at the World Cup. But trust me, this team is far off from what we saw. We were talking about a certain Zambia national team some days ago when we were playing our first match. We saw them too against Australia
with Barbara Banda.
Just at the same time we were doing, the kind of thing players like Barbara Banda is doing at the Olympics, you should be expecting a Super Falcons full of superstars to be doing that as well.
We should be scoring goals for fun.
So, and that is why we are in a precarious situation in our group at the moment, because we have failed to score goals.
Well, it will take a miracle on Wednesday for the Super Falcons to make it through, especially with what we've seen so far. The only thing that can help us outside of a miracle is clinical transmogrification, which we do not know if it will happen or not. Still talking about our darling newspapers, front page, Punch, Sports Extra. Kelechi Iheanacho, we all know him, senior man, told Leicester City he was leaving, waved them goodbyes, and everybody was saying, where was he going? Was he going to a team that was just coming out of relegation? Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? He's on his way to playing for Sevilla in the Spanish in the Spanish league. Of course, you know Sevilla, one of the best Spanish teams right there in the La Liga. Biodun, from Leicester to Sevilla. Looks like this is a good one.
This is what you call scintillating. For the fact that Sevilla already have a Nigerian, Chidera Ejuke, their first signing of the summer, and they've been all over social media tweeting different kinds of Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, and different kind of slangs just to get the traction and all of that. They didn't perform well in the La Liga last year, but it didn't take the fact that Sevilla are one of the best sides.
No doubt.
So it makes it more. Why I say it's even scintillating. Another reason why I say is because both of them are left-footed players, and they are not just left-footed players. They are nimble-footed, left-footed players. So Ejuke likes to dribble. He's one of the best dribblers in Europe.
Boom, boom. Yeah.
Kelechi Iheanacho, whether you play him as a dovetailing winger behind the striker or even on the sides, or even as a striker or as a false nine too,
anything,
he delivers. So it makes it look interesting how Sevilla will be able to set up with two left-footed Nigerians in their team, especially from the midfield to the attack. So I don't know who their .9 will be next season, but Kelechi Iheanacho, for what he has done with Leicester City over the years, it might not be surprising to see him being the top striker for Sevilla next season. And it might be a very suitable formation for him to try because tiki-taka, pass the ball here and there, he might just be able to get some double figures and make himself. So
perhaps even qualify for Europe.
Or even qualify for Europe. So the decision to leave Leicester eventually, it might be one of the biggest gainers, and they are getting him on a free transfer as well. So it depends on what he gets now in terms of money. Depends on how well he is able to negotiate himself and his agent as well. So it's a very good move for him. All he just has to do is pack his bag, go to Spain, try to adapt, and see how he comes out at the end of the season.
All right, back to the Olympics. It's right there on our front page. Fans lament as Ogunsemilore fails boxing test. Doping.
Well, apologies to all boxing enthusiasts. Of all sports, boxing seems to be the one that is very hard to clean in terms of doping and all of that. But you won't have to blame them, especially boxers like Ogunsemilore and many amateur boxers who are trying to come up, because there are so many regulations in terms of what to take, what to eat, what to drink, and what not to, that most of them are not even abreast of. Nobody has come out clearly to say this is why. Okay, I think they talked about the substance that they found in our body and all of that. So sometimes some of these things come with, it might even be as a result of a cream you are rubbing. It might be as a source of one content in something you've drank, or
just something to
unintentionally or intentionally, as the case may be. So, but it's sad because we qualified 3 boxers for this event. One got injured before the start of the event, although there are rumors that it was because he failed a dope test as well before even departing, and they just had to avoid that. Maybe he got injured, maybe he failed. We'll still.
But officially, they said he got injured.
But officially, he's injured.
One guy got beaten and battered badly.
I saw the reaction on the face of the Nigerian boxing coach Olaleyin before the game, and someone someone mentioned something on the group chat that guy was not listening to the instruction of his coach. I said it was apparent from the picture that I saw.
More like,
so the person now told me the picture was even before the fight started. So there must have been a lot.
The coach just said, okay,
vibes and inshallah. And it ended 5-0.
The guy was butter.
Hopes were high. Honestly, Shego, hopes were high. Yeah. Especially for the boxer that was beaten, because he trains in the UK.
Yeah.
Based in the UK and all of that. We probably thought he might be able to pull some weight.
Do something.
But nah.
All right, still talking about the front page. Nico Williams, you all know him, burst onto the scene with Euro 2024, and they won the Euro 2024 with the Spanish national team. One of the bright lights for that team. Originally Ghanaian, but of course he's Spanish. Yet to determine where he's going this summer. And, you know, lots and lots and lots of speculation has it that he'll be heading to Barcelona, but nothing concrete as of yet, and his future is still in his hands. What will you advise him?
For Barcelona himself, they have to sell at least 2 players to be able to afford him. So they are in a tight corner at the moment. Nico Williams and Athletic Bilbao, it's been twice in less than a year or 6 months that his contract has been extended. So it might just be steps to cashing out eventually. They've put a valuation of about 60 million euros or even more than that on him. So teams will have to start looking for the money. So this week, he might be able to decide. But having Lamine Yamal at Barcelona already, they seem like a very good duo with the Spanish national team. Why not just go continue that at Barcelona? It makes it look seamlessly, it looks like a seamless transition.
A partnership made in heaven.
A partnership made in heaven between the two of them. So just join Lamine at Barcelona and just continue the Lord's work, knowing fully well that a player like Rafinha too might be heading out. So the space will definitely be there. He's as good as that.
All right, there you have it. We still have lots and lots of stories on the headlines, on the front pages. But hey, why don't you go across your road or, you know, across your office and speak to a vendor close to you, get a copy of Point Sports Extra and have a fantastic week. Very quickly, let's dig into the program now. Let's talk about our failures so far. The Olympics began on Wednesday, football, male, Thursday, football, female, but on Friday, we had the opening ceremony on water. You know, France was just trying to let everybody know what Paris 2024 was all about. Interesting, let's talk about the opening ceremony very quickly. It was on water. I was hoping that Nigeria, the team Nigeria, would get our own boat. You know, our own boat like America, like the United Kingdom. Unfortunately, we were 3-1.
Niger, Nigeria,
and why did they put us in? Why?
No, you know, why? There is strength in numbers. And that is why the old Niger contingent that was in front of us.
Those guys, I think, were they not 3 or 4?
I'm not sure they were. So
how many were they?
They didn't even make double figures.
Yeah.
Nigeria, in total, we have a disputed number, 88, 85, 83. You begin to see different figures elsewhere. But the minister said we have 88 there.
Okay.
So
we'll go with the minister's figures.
88 of us, 88 athletes were not on the boat. In fact, as at the time that the opening ceremony was on, our wrestlers were still in their Germany camp. The female basketball team were in another city. The Super Falcons were in another city. So just a few number of guys were there. And if anything they said is anything, if what they said is anything, there was even allotted numbers for every contingent for each boat. So,
but very quickly, Biodu, let's talk about the controversy of the basketball ladies now. Reports, foreign media came out almost immediately to say they excuse. I mean, let's try and use good words now. They excuse the basketball team from coming on with the Nigerian contingent, and then later they said no. They told them not to come, but that they said they wanted to be on that boat. And then you are hearing again that they had to get five jerseys or 5 attires from those that were on the boat to give to the basketball contingent. And then they said they wanted to be on the boats entirely, their entire team. And then, you know, a lot of back and forth here and there. Eventually, what happened was the basketball guys were not part of those that were on the boat. And, you know, just a little bit, we are not trying to overshadow their gains today, which we're still going to talk about in football. Just, why can't we stay away from country? Why should we always, something will happen?
You know, the question we'll have to ask yourself, is there an Olympics without a Nigerian controversy? No. The Olympics will never be complete. And that was, the basketball thing wasn't even the only one.
Okay.
So the basketball thing is, I saw the explanation of the PRO of the Nigeria Olympic Committee.
Yeah.
And it was quite nauseating for me because while he was asked what exactly happened, it was clear, it was simple, that it was an internal thing. They handled it on the spot. He didn't give any detail about what but yeah, he said there was supposed to be this, there was supposed to be that in a particular number that will go to the train. But one thing is certain, a team of a particular contingent, in a particular contingent,
Yeah.
who doesn't have any business
Yeah.
at the opening ceremony won't go there.
Of course.
So that
Or
is,
shouldn't go there.
shouldn't even go there.
Yeah.
That is for fact. And in France that day, there were issues with trains to Paris on that fateful day. So
Yeah.
a lot of people were not even able to travel. So for the D Tigers to have been there against all odds, they were meant
To be there.
to be there.
So you
and be
think
part
that
of
was
it.
a lie? They just cooked all that
So,
up.
you know, maybe things changed
Okay.
between the IOC and the National Olympic Committees midway that day, and they didn't communicate to those ones. They were already there. Maybe something changed. So maybe they didn't give us that detail, but they said there was a stipulated number of athletes that were supposed to be on boats and all of that. They stuck to that, and that was settled. But beyond that, if you look at the attire of Team Nigeria that day, our captain and flag bearer who are in the traditional Agbada, Iran, Buba,
Yeah.
cool. If you look at the attire of every other member of the contingent too, you see the logo of a kit maker, Actively Black.
Yeah.
And if you've been paying attention to social media recently, you will also notice that there
Yeah,
was a
two
particular
different-
fashion designer
Yeah.
who was.
Yeah.
So if you look at pictures that trended that day, there were different shades of opening ceremony attires from Nigeria. And guess what? The CEO of Actively Black came out and said Team Nigeria did not honor, the Nigeria Olympic Committee did not honor the
agreement.
contract that they had. And the contract was that Team Nigeria was supposed to put on Actively Black
Sure.
during the opening ceremony. So some were using something different, some were using Actively Black and all of that. So there's a whole lot of questions. And you know, before now, everybody has been asking questions. Which kits are we
Are we even
going
using?
to
Because we
use?
have two. Actively Black just boom came up, and then they said it changed.
Peak. And when I mean we, Punch Sport Extra
Yeah.
asked for clarification from the NOC as well. They said Actively Black is for competition, approved by the IOC too. They've submitted that and all of
Okay,
that.
okay.
The ministry came up with peak, so it's just an additional kit for the athletes. And if you notice, the Super Falcons before their game yesterday, they were putting on the peak,
Yeah.
but they wore their Nike
Yeah.
for the matches.
Yesterday.
So normally, different federations who took athletes or performers to the Olympics will have different kit contracts, just like the Nigeria Football
course,
Federation
of course.
and Nike, just like the D Tigers and Africa for Africa, just like which other team do we have there? For example,
Athletics.
Okpeyori is playing badminton. Will
Yeah.
be wearing the local brand Owu tomorrow.
Wow,
Not
nice.
even peak.
Nice. Owu, nice.
So different federations with different partnership kits and all of that. And Actively Black is mainly for those that are in track and field. But whatever agreement they had about the opening ceremony, about the whole contingent
Chaos.
wearing, so it's kind of chaotic. But from now till the end of the games, I guess there will be more controversies for Team Nigeria to manage.
We pray for positive ones though, because you know
We want to manage more medals than controversy.
Yeah, I think that's better that way. I mean, we want to be in that mood. The nation even needs to be in that good mood right now. All right. I went to bed. Was it on Saturday? Yes, Saturday. I went to bed on Saturday, seeing that Haruna Quadri was leading 3-0.
Honestly,
And I just felt time is going. Tomorrow is another day. I mean, you know.
you already.
And I woke up seeing that he lost.
4-3.
And I didn't know how I felt. Like, what is going on? This is 12 billion going down the drain. I was just, you need to see the way I was lamenting as if I was one of the guys that, because I saw 3-0 and we are done. You know, we are done. You know, Haruna Quadri, 3-0 up. For God's sake, what can be wrong? And by the time I woke up, it was what went wrong with Haruna Quadri?
It is like someone said, it's his usual inconsistency at this stage. You know, Haruna is like, he's the biggest player out of Africa at the moment.
Of course.
He's the biggest brand out of Nigeria in
Tennis,
in
yeah.
table tennis. But at that stage, and you really cannot explain things for this guy. You know, because few days before the Olympics, he was speaking. That was exactly last week Sunday. He was speaking about his preparations, the number of tournaments he's played, and he made mention of one thing which I particularly underlined too. That table tennis is tough. The Asians are there and all of that.
Yeah.
But he said there are only 2 players that he has failed to beat in his entire career. That is on the world number 2. So it was easy to think that his challenge will not be the
At this
round of
stage,
64 game,
you know,
against the Romanian. Although the Romanian had beaten him before when they first met, that was their second meeting, and that guy took it again. So it was a bit of complacency. Maybe he was injured during. Maybe his arms were weak or something.
because how?
He definitely has to explore. I'm very sure he's as gutted as ever. This might be his last dance.
Of course, most
at the
likely his
Olympics.
last dance.
He might come back again. You know, someone like Torreira still played till about the age of 40. He attended 7 Olympics. But I think for a game that we've had so much reputation on the African continent, we should be pulling some weight.
Yeah.
At that level too. It was quite disappointing, and that was why it became very shocking. We had 3 other table tennis players.
Yeah.
Nobody raised their hopes.
Yeah. For
Even up until Fatima
yeah,
Bello, who was
yeah.
out, nobody raised their hopes. But Haruna Quadri,
Because
expectations were so high.
And he started well.
He started well, 3-0.
Bam,
So
bam.
how do you lose it? I saw a reaction on the face of the coach too.
Yeah. His own coach.
Shegun
Toriola,
Toriola seemed to be very disappointed so when he saw the way things were going. So maybe something went wrong with him physically, psychologically. Maybe
Because it was a very fast negative change.
It's very drastic. 3-3, and before you knew it, the last set they struggled, went for a tie break, but then
Couldn't make it out.
the Romania said no.
All right, from basketball to football and boxing as well. 5-0. He lost. All the judges said he lost.
You know, you really cannot say how well we will be able to do. You know, these boxers that were competing for us, they were very good at the African Games.
Yes.
But, you know, for boxing, that has won us 6 medals at the Olympics, it won us our first 3. And in fact, our first medal at the Olympics was even from boxing. But the last time we won, I think, was in the 90s. So it's been a long time. And it means that we need to do something drastically. And you mentioned 12 billion the last time. We are competing in 12 events at the Olympics.
Yeah.
That is 12 federations. We have about over 30 federations in the country managing different sports. You know, if we have a budget of 12 billion that we can take to the Olympics, how about budgeting 3 billion naira every year for some of these federations? You know, what is the annual budget for sports in an entire year? So, you know, putting 12 billion for us to go to the Olympics looks like, massive pumping. But how much have we done in the last 4 years for each of these sports? So it's just like 12 federations going to benefit from the largesse of the 12 billion by the virtue of qualifying and competing at the Olympics. So what happens to many other federations who did not even have athletes that will qualify or compete at the Olympic Games? So it doesn't mean that they won't get as much support. So in terms of financing sports, it only means that we need to do better. It's not about giving
very quickly, let me throw in some statistics there, Biodun. The budget for sports for the ministry in Nigeria this year is about 31 billion
for a year.
Yeah, but for University of Georgia for 2024 is 300 billion. So I didn't say the state of Georgia. I said the University of Georgia. So you know, sometimes monies can be, you know, financially perhaps we can do better. But sometimes when we compare ourselves with some of these countries that know what they are doing, you just look at it, because if a university is budgeting
as much as that
300 million, you know, funny enough, they come to Africa. Look at people like Deborah Abiodun. They give them scholarships so that they can come and study. We're not even talking about budgets for, you know, academics where they say come and study for free. These days they say when you are going for a PhD and you're going to America, most likely they are paying you to come and all that. But unfortunately, you know, we hope that the other guys can do Team Nigeria proud, and we've started today, a very bright Monday, and the girls, the Tigress, 12th of the 12 female teams that are competing at the Olympics in basketball, Nigeria was ranked the 12th.
Lowest.
12 out of 12. I said it was 23 odds for Nigeria to win that game, and for the Australians it was 1.1. Bettors will probably have a better idea of the stats I just reeled. But you know, it just tells you how impossible and unbelievable it was. Coach Renel Wamaka has done a very fantastic job. We saw Ezinne Kalu, of course. You are a fan of basketball and the Tigress. You know how well she has been with the team. Captain Ami Okonkwo perhaps was not at her best if you look at what she did at the Afrobasket, but she was equally brilliant, throwing 3 points, getting the 3 points, and Muji Musa was a warrior. Everything from her head down to her toes, it looks like she had iron everywhere, because once she touches you, you are going down. It's not possible. You are definitely going down. Got some good 2-pointers, got some 3-pointers as well. Overall, I think it's a good one. Biodun, is this the beginning of great things to come?
We hope
the Nigerian contingent.
We hope so, and that's about our last event for today.
Yeah.
You know, like I said earlier this morning, the day can be either long or short.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Tigers, now we are going to have a very long, beautiful day, and we hope that will be able to transcend to many other sports that will begin to compete as from tomorrow as well.
On the 1st of August, athletics begins, and when we talk about athletics, you know that's one place where many Nigerians are hopeful, even though Biodun has told me many times, privately, on air, every time, that we shouldn't be too hopeful, because the guys we are going against are some of the very best. Biodun, going into athletics, because anytime we come here next, it's going to be another Monday,
yes,
and they would have finished the finals of athletics. I think it's on Sunday next week, 4-5.
Yeah.
So, any hopes for us?
Quite. We have some reasonable hopes.
You've said it.
But then, we are competing against the best of the best. Let's just hope we'll be able to get 3 medals in all the events that we are entering
in athletics. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Toby,
I don't know any other one. Maybe the 4x100 meter
girls,
women's relay team. I'm very sure of those two, but I don't know who else is going to
we
be
have
able
Lara,
to give us.
4x100. You are hopeful about 4x100.
They look really good.
100 meter hurdles.
100 meter hurdles, yeah, Toby, she should be able to get something.
200 meters, Favour of Philly.
Favour of Philly in the 200 meters, she might stand a chance, because it looks quite dicey. But because some people are not there, and because some people are not at their best at the moment, and she's been in her very best of form, it might be a year.
Okay, say 400 meters.
Chidi Okeze, you know, it's been a long way coming for Chidi, but unfortunately, I don't see him pulling any strings.
He's crowdfunding at the moment to bring his family
to Paris as well, to come and cheer him. So that might be his motivation. Yeah. So let's see how well that goes for him too.
All right, thank you very much for being a part of this package this beautiful Monday, Punch Sports Extra Olympics era. And thank you very much for being a part of this. Like I always say, if you are not here, if you are not there, we'll definitely not be here. We hope that Team Nigeria at the Olympics will do well, so that when we think about our 12 billion naira that was used to prosecute the Olympics, we'll have good things to think about. Thank you very much, Abiodun Adewale, for being a part of this package. You guys are king, the viewers. Thank you very much for being a part of this. Hopefully, same time next week, Monday, we'll be here again to give you another beautiful edition of Punch Sports Extra. My name is Shegun Odwan, signing out. God bless you.